All right, so it's Thursday, and it is what, September 29th already. And so thank you guys for coming out. So this is a coach training, health coach training for the coaches on our team. And I had a meeting earlier in the week with our executive directors, other leaders on our team. So Julie and Vicki Feldman and Susan Giesland, and we've really been trying to work on what's best for our team. What do we need? What do our clients need? What do our coaches need? And if you remember, a couple months ago, we introduced the client coach connection calls, and they've been great. We've had great attendance on those. We've kind of made an executive decision that we're going to have those calls once per month. We're going to do those calls on the first Thursday of each month. We think that will probably bring the greatest value and the greatest audience to those. And because of the fact, we'd also like to incorporate at least one health coach training as well for our team. And I think we'll talk about a little bit at the end, if we have time, about what's going to be the best day of the week or time of day to have these calls for the coaches. But we're really fortunate that we have a lot of training available through Take Shape for Life. And you have your business coach, and you have, I'm just going to mute everybody for a second. And so we have our business coach, and your business coach is always the best person to go to for a resource, but there's a lot to be said by connecting. We talk about community for our clients and how important that is, but there's real value to connecting as coaches. So we can sit on a webinar and we can watch about procedures or guidelines on how to do something, but we still may have questions about that, or we still may have concepts with that, or maybe we're trying to do it and it's just not working for us. So we really wanted to create a forum where we could talk about some of these procedures, provide guidelines and clarification, but more importantly, be able to open discussions so that we can really see how are these things working in real life for our business, and how maybe as peers we can help each other move forward. And tonight's topic, what we were going to talk about is Facebook and social media. And I'm only just going to talk for just a couple of minutes, just point you in some directions of where some of the procedures and guidelines are, and give you some highlights of what can be effective. And I know Julie's going to share, Susan's going to share, and then we're going to open it up. So we live in a world, we know that we have a great program, right? Most of us have gone on the program. We've had fantastic results, and we made a decision to coach other people. And we know that the best way to reach other people is through this one-on-one communication, through our interactions, our relationships with other people. That's what helps us get into conversation with them about what we have to offer, and most importantly, be able to talk to these individuals about what their desires are, what their intrinsic motivation is, and then work with them to see if our program might be a match. And that really only happens through conversations, and those are done verbally is always best. And they usually, they trust us, and so that's why it works well. But social media, we live in a world where social media, texting, all of that is rampant. It's kind of the way of the world. And so Facebook can be a really, really valuable tool for us, because it's the forum where you are already interacting with people, and interacting with people that could be in all stages of your life, right? Like, I don't know about you, I've reconnected with people from high school, reconnected with people from college, relatives, people I worked with when I lived in a different state, neighborhoods I lived with in a different state. So it's a really great avenue to stay connected to people, and that connection where this might be, something that could be helpful to them as far as what we offer as health coaches. So the forum is great, but what we want to do is just talk about what is best for using that forum, and how do you stay authentic, how do you stay true to who you are, and really putting that relationship with them first, but yet at the same time also letting them know what you do as a health coach and what you have that might be able to help them, or maybe able to help somebody in their world. So we have a document, there's a tool out there called the Simple Systems. And if you look in our Team Coachin Health Coach Facebook page, if you look in the file section, there's actually a link to it. And don't be scared when you go to it, because there is a ton of information out there. But if you scroll down through it, and I can point you directly to it if you need it one-on-one assistance, but there's a whole section there on social media. And there's 4 or 5 different video trainings about utilizing social media for your business. And the most important one being, if you're a brand new health coach or you've never done anything on Facebook to let people know what you do with your business, we call that a Facebook launch. And it's real important that you'll want to work with your business coach on that, because we definitely have some skills and strategies that are just proven to be really effective with that. So a lot of times we get excited, we want to just run out and post our own before and after picture, or make a grand announcement of what we're doing. But if we are a little more strategic and use the proven formula, it'll be more effective for you. And so beyond that, there's some other videos. I attached one of them. It was called Facebook 101. And there's one that you can work your contact list with Facebook. So there's a lot of great tools out there. But the only things that I really wanted to point out, and I think that Julie will do a really good job sharing about this, is that if you choose to use social media as a platform to reach people, just realize that it's really just one layering technique that we have available to us. It can be real easy to slide back behind our computer and start to use social media as our only avenue as connecting with people. And really, it can just be a great tool to add on to your existing relationships. So if you're, I was in a Pilates class yesterday and I met a girl and we started talking, and she was asking me about something else and health related. And then I said, hey, I'm a health coach. I said, I do a monthly newsletter. Would you like to be on it? I have recipes. And she's like, yeah. And I said, well, great. I said, are you on Facebook? Let's connect there. And she said, yeah. So I just took that opportunity to connect to her. And then she'll start to see who I am as we start to have more Facebook interactions. So we always want to be making our connections and reinforcing our connections in real life, and then just supporting them through Facebook. So that is the most important thing. And we really want to be social on social media. So taking advantage of interacting with other people. We don't want to just be posting and then leaving and not interacting on what other people are, their pictures, their funny post. It's real helpful if you just take 2 minutes and be intentional and just comment, great picture, great article, your kids are so cute. It'll just keep you in the forefront of their mind, and it shows that it's a two-way street, this whole relationship that you have with them. People, as far as thinking of your world, a lot of times I'll just sit down and I'll think, is everybody I'm connected with, am I connected with them on Facebook? And sometimes I'll just go through my phone and my list of contacts and just make sure everybody that I have there is also a Facebook connection as well. And then think of all the different spheres of communities that you interact with, and those would be great connections. We do want to be a model for health out there. So probably not a good idea to post a picture of you eating, getting your free Krispy Kreme donut if it's free donut day, just whatever that is. You just want to make sure you're being authentic and living a life of health, but also being realistic, not being too perfect, because, we definitely have to be relatable as far as who we are as humans, but we definitely want to be modeling health, modeling inspiration, positivity, things that are going to be attractive to us. So, I try to stay away from controversial topics. You'll never see me post about politics or anything like that on Facebook. Even though I have an opinion, I'm not going to share it out there in a public forum that might taint somebody's view of me. And it's not that I'm hiding anything. It's just I just don't think that's necessarily the forum for it. And we do want to let people know what we do as a health coach, in terms of basically just sharing information. We do have that Facebook social media launch process, and we can talk about that individually one-on-one. But we really just want to be sharing information. And, if I have a before and after picture, sharing something like, this is why I love being a health coach, success stories like this, versus if you want to get healthy, please private message me. It's just two different messages in how we do it. If we don't want to appear like we're trying to attract, business or sell or anything like that. So hopefully that makes sense. And, being out there on a regular basis, just so it's consistent, monthly, weekly, having a process for it. So that's kind of the highlights. Before I go too far, I want maybe Julie, could you jump in and just share? You do a great job. You've been in the social media world for a long time, and just share with us what you do, your do's and don'ts, and what's worked for you and what you don't like when you see.
So just by a quick raise of hands, do you guys all use social media? Would you raise your hand if you use it like on a daily basis? Okay, so Do you use it just for personal, or raise your hand if you use it for your business as well? Okay, so I think one of the hardest lines that I found was how much is personal and how much do I make it business. But I think the coolest part is that as a health coach, you kind of want to take the approach of your living out loud, because if you're doing things that are active and people are going to be attracted to you, so you kind of want to be living out loud and putting those things on Facebook so people are like, oh, wow, how cool. And I'll give you one really quick example. Is a couple of months ago, I took a couple of clients paddleboarding. And so we put up the pictures of us paddleboarding. And that weekend, I ended up getting 3 new clients because they were all like, what is she doing with these clients? They're all in shape. Like, how cool. They knew those 2 ladies. And so they ended up reaching out to me. So just because it may be a personal thing, don't be afraid to put it out there. But like Dee said, be very, particular about what you're putting up there. Does it make sense? So I think my approach has always been one, consistency. So I always make sure I do something every single day, whether it's my Fun Friday. I've always done that. Try to put up something funny, health related, or if it's Monday, I usually try to do a motivational thing. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it may be an article. Wednesday, it may be something funny about my cat. Like, I just put up random stuff, try to make it real. Like, this is Julie's life. This is what she does as a trainer and a health coach. But like Dee said, you're keeping yourself in the forefront of people's minds. So I think the biggest thing is use Facebook as a way of exposure. You don't necessarily want it to be like sales, or I think when I look at Facebook, I say, what is annoying? Because I see people out there all the time and they're like, I have one more sale that I need one more people to buy something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't stand that. So if it's something that you get annoyed by, that most people are probably annoyed by it. So try to take a different approach. And just because our business includes helping people doesn't mean it has to be sales on Facebook. So that's just your exposure and your way to like put out there that you love helping people. So I try to look at it as more of a fun way to build my exposure, not necessarily, and what that's going to do is build my business, but it's a way to build your reputation. So using transformation stories, all those things, and just try to find a way to be consistent with it. Do something every single day. And also always think, how is this going to help my exposure, help my business, and help clients? So I hope that helps a little bit, give you guys some ideas. But I do think it's important to use Facebook because of the, like Dee said, it helps you reconnect with so many people. And do comment on people's pictures because they'll see that you care about them. And like my clients, I try to comment on their pictures and try to like the things that I show up in my newsfeed so that I'm involved and it's not like I'm not around. They know. And then when I show up because I train clients, but if I talk to them, I can say, oh, how was that with your daughter or whatever? I'm connected to their life. So be on Facebook looking at your clients' lives too.
Those are really good points. It was actually just recently a newer coach had said to me, like, I'm just not so sure I want to put my business on Facebook. And I get that. And then I would also say, well, why wouldn't we? We know that we have a program that can change lives, and if we think about it in terms of, the whole philosophy of sharing a gift, right? So we have something that can help somebody. And think about it in terms of why wouldn't we want to share that? People can think what they want. And honestly, I find if you're doing things positively, the way that, especially the way that Julie just described, there's not going to be really any negative thoughts. Like I think sometimes there's a fear, what will people think of me if I do that? But at the end of the day, does it really matter? If you're really going into it with a true heart, if I have something that can help people versus, oh, I need one more client this month, then it's going to be received that way. And at the end of the day, is our program going to be for everybody? No. But I know Julie has, and so have generated a lot of new clients and transformed a lot of lives because of the fact that people knew it through social media.
It's, I think, all in your approach. It's all how you handle it and what you put out there, because we see them all day, all the people that are putting it out there like, oh, I need one more client. that's not what we're in this business for to begin with. So we're not going to, if you take that approach, it's not going to come across that way.
Right. It'll come across as I'm looking for one more client, no matter what words you use. Right.
Right. But if you're taking the approach of, I want to help people and look at what's one of my clients has accomplished and put your own transformation story, people are going to look at it. It's going to be received totally different. So I wouldn't worry about it as a fearful thing. Just walk in confidence of like, how cool, look what I've accomplished. Look what my clients have accomplished. You can do this too. And I'd love to help. I'd love to help you.
Right. Right. And if you don't have clients yet, if you're just getting started, your coach can help you. We can point you to we have a website where there's, compliant approved pictures of before and after clients. And you can always just simply use the word, I'm so happy for this client. You don't have to say my client, but just so happy for Susan's transformation, whatever that might be. So your coach can help you with that. Some of you guys who have been doing this for a while and on social media, I would love for you to just unmute yourself, weigh in, especially if you're maybe a newer coach with questions. Let's just talk about what your thoughts are. Okay. Beth Bilton, and you're like a fairly, I've seen you dipping your toe with social media some. What are your thoughts and based on feedback from?
Well, I still do social media, and I've sent out, my welcome letter that you'd suggested that I do. And I've only been able to talk to one person, and I did follow up with her, and I haven't heard back from her yet. So I don't know what else to do. So I try to work it every day, in different ways, but I don't know. I haven't had that much success yet. Okay.
So probably something that we should probably sit down and look at together, because I am your business coach, and really look at what's going out, because sometimes these can be as simple as we might share a great article. Let's say we share a health or we share a Dr. A tip, but sometimes even just adding our own narrative to it, like love this tip because, and or if there's an article, I'll sometimes say, this is worth the read. You'll want to see what bullet number 3 says, just to, maybe entice somebody to go read it. So, yeah, we'll take a look at that more specifically to see what might be going on there.
Okay.
One other thing that Dee and I figured out is that when you share things on Facebook, only a limited number of people actually see it. So it's always better for you to save the picture and then do your own post or put the link in there or something, because most likely if you just share something, only a handful of people are going to see it. So experiment with it one day and share it, and then like the next day do a brand new post and just watch the difference in the responses.
Okay.
And I will say and you probably know this yourself, I mean, everybody's so flippin' busy these days that most everything is image driven these days. So if you can have a picture with very few words, that's what's going to, notice, maybe even pay attention to what gets more likes, what gets more attention, because people are scrolling fast. And if there's a lot of words, they're not going to read it, but it might be if it's a catchy image, think about what you like to see and what you comment on.
Jonathan, I'm curious what Jonathan's response has been from your posting.
Which one of you? You've got one in mind, or you wouldn't have asked.
Well, no, lately you've been putting up a lot of the transformations, and I think that's good, but I'm just curious if you've gotten a response or what's happened from posting those transformation stories.
I've gotten responses. I have gotten clients from them. And most of those clients are people from way back in my past. One of my newest clients is a high school friend from 10th grade. And that one day, I've got my stalkers, my Facebook stalkers, and you can see them in the like trends. And one day I got a message that said, "Hi friend, tell me about these pictures." And so it just started naturally, and it probably took them a month or more to come on board after we talked about the program. And then out of the blue, one day I get a message that says, "I'm ready to start. Call me tomorrow." And so, I use Facebook. Now I've had to learn how to filter Facebook, because I actually have clients from my day job who are in my feed. So I use custom filtering. so that maybe the guy that I work with day in and day out doesn't see all of my health posts, but see some of them. So, but I
That's
do
good.
once a week, I do a transformation, and the rest of the time we're either living out loud or putting something inspirational or positive. And we're staying away from politics this season.
I think that's a good idea every season. Just well, that's good. Yeah, I have really noticed with you and Lisa a lot of consistency with what you've been doing. Vicki, did you have something to share?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I'm not a big Facebook poster in general. And so I think one of the valuable things that I've learned after going to several conferences is if you don't post a lot, you can't just kind of verbal vomit, Take Shape for Life or healthy things. And obviously I'm also a fitness coach, so I will sometimes share articles, but like I shared something just totally stupid the other night because I came home from a stressful day and I saw these two people. I mean, granted, it's not very big health coach post, but they were drinking helium beer and it's a totally different language. It doesn't matter because you don't even have to know, but they start cracking up because they can't believe what they sound like. And it was just a hilarious post. And, you know, things that are funny also get people to laugh. And, you know, I'm not even a big drinker. So again, the funny thing was just watching them laugh and laugh and laugh. And I think what I have learned is I have to post more non-Take Shape for Life things so that when I do want to post Take Shape for Life things, there's a balance. And I remember going to one conference and they said like one Take Shape for Life thing, you know, against 3 or 4 other types of posts. And I always keep that in mind because it's kind of like anything else. When you get so much of it, it falls on deaf ears. So if you get a lot of different things and all of a sudden you have that wow moment, like the transformation, like the things Jonathan's posting, it captures your attention. And then the other thing I was going to say is that people that follow or like that whole not now, I'm not ready now, I'm not going to, you know, they're not seeking it out. But then that next time you post that transformation and they've been thinking about it, that's going to where they're going to pull the trigger and maybe reach out to you.
That's a really good point. I think what Jonathan said was, like, sometimes I can watch somebody's likes, and if somebody starts to like me frequently, like a pictures, I'm like, oh, they're getting ready, yeah, like they're getting close. But so I have had people come out of the blue, people that have never liked anything that I've posted, and 2, 3, 4 years later come back and say, Dee, I've been watching you for 4 years. Now I got to know what you're doing. You know, I need to hear about this. So, you know, like Beth, like even though you're putting stuff out there and you're not, you know, may not be seeing it, activity now, it's planting seeds that will likely harvest later.
And sometimes it's just the first seed. You might run into them at the grocery store the next day and they're like, oh my gosh, what was that you put up? And so it leads to conversations. So it's still worth your time of putting it up because it's a seed, like you said, Dee.
Well, and I like when I said health related, like I like to put things up that, like, no matter where somebody is in their stage of life, like they could benefit from it. Like whether, like Julie said, if it's an inspirational post, something that, you know, motivational, maybe just a healthy recipe that's good for anybody, whether you're on plan or not. Like I think if people just see you as sharing helpful tips, that's much different than just sharing specifically about our program or that you can help them. Susan Giesland, so we have another tool available because you might hear this word around, especially if you're fairly new to Take Shape for Life. There's a tool available to us now. Susan, I'll just let you take it and talk about Synduit.
Okay, yeah. We have a great, it's kind of like a marketing, they're like a marketing firm in a sense. They put together a lot of the behind the scenes marketing things. And for instance, I'll give you an example. Now, it is a paid service. It's about $29 a month is what I pay for it. But I use this Synduit for a couple of things. One of them is the welcome letter. Like if you have a new client and you send them the welcome letter with all the information such as their, you know, username and password and the quick start guide and whatever. They've already got it set up with links. It's beautiful. It's got the graphics. It's really nice. I really, really like using that. And so it's very simple to just go in there and plug in somebody's first name, their email address, and they get the welcome letter. So I use it for that. I use it for a referral letter as well, rather than doing my own and just kind of emailing it out. It kind of looks a little more professional, a little more clean. And I also use it for transition. They have a great transition letter that gives all the links to the different parts of the website for meal plans and calculating your TEE and all of that. So that's one way I use it on its separate way. I also set up Facebook posts and Twitter posts with it. So I set up, they have these things called campaigns. You can do them on a trigger email, they call it, like one time only kind of thing, like some of these welcome and referral letters, or you can do it as like a 30-day thing is another example. And for instance, the way I use it sometimes is every day at a certain time, and I can pick the time, I can decide, I can put my own words in it and everything like that, but they will post a recipe, a transformation story, a motivational quote, and that kind of thing. And I don't have to do it. It's just, I know that at 6 a.m. or 5 p.m. or whatever I've set it up to do, it posts it on my Facebook page. So it's not something that I have to remember to do. I want to post a recipe, and then I get busy doing other stuff. I can't remember to do it. So it kind of takes that kind of aspect. It kind of does it for me. So it frees up my time. And it's all done it's all compliant with, Take Shape for Life's requirements. It's all very professional looking. It's got all the graphics. I don't have to kind of think about it. So I really, really like that about the Synduit. For me, it was a very, $29 a month for me was an extremely easy peasy kind of investment because it takes me forever to figure this stuff out. So, so I do that. I get a lot of likes on that. I get some responses from people on that. They look for them after a while. So I really like that aspect to it. I like the welcome letter. I like the transition letter, the referral letter. It kind of does it for me. It's a learning curve. It's learning how their reports work. It's learning so that takes some time. But they have all kinds of different campaigns that you can use that are Take Shape for Life compliant, and the ideas come from our top leaders in Take Shape for Life. So I like it, using it as, when we use Facebook and social media, it's a branding kind of thing. It's like branding yourself as somebody that's knowledgeable in a health area. And the more that you post, and like we were just saying, you don't want to post Take Shape for Life stuff all the time, but the more that you're out there, people are going to think about you. And I had a friend of mine that posted something about how she was looking for a new job. So I just private messaged her and I said, you love health, you love fitness. I've been thinking about you. Would you be interested in learning more about what I do as a health coach? And she said yes. She's extremely interested. And so we're working at that kind of thing. And then I use the things that we have that come across, like tonight's, Dan Bell thing in a few minutes. I post that stuff in private messages and stuff like that. So I think it's a tool. It's just one of our tools to get us out there introducing ourselves to people. But I really like the Synduit. It's really kind of eased me from trying to have to figure things out on my own because I'm not that tech savvy.
And it can be a time saver as your business is growing, et cetera. What I found was that over time, it was taking me a long time to go out and search for images with motivational phrases on them or finding recipes. And so it was worth it. But what I would say is if you don't know what to post or you're not sure, I would recommend, if you're not already connected on Facebook with myself, Julie, Susan, Vicki Feldman, take a look at what we're doing, and it is okay to copy some of our stuff. And what I mean by that is you don't necessarily want to just share it. We always recommend that you download an image, re-upload it, make it look like it's yours, put your own wording on it, make it sound like you. And like, if you like something that I post, feel free to use it in a week or two, not necessarily using it today, or so it looks like, if we have mutual connected friends, so it doesn't look like it's really, mass produced, but if you're not sure, use our examples as something to get you going. I mean, that is A-okay to do that. And like I said, maybe just follow that as models. So I want to go ahead and wrap this up because I do know that the Dan Bell thing is starting, his presentation. So hopefully you'll hop on that. I do want to let you know our next Client Coach Connection is next Thursday night, a week from tonight. So you'll want to go ahead and be inviting your clients, mark your calendar for 8:30 p.m. Vicki, what's our topic?
I believe that it all starts with the candy corn.
That's right.
We decided.
It all starts with
I actually did my image. I'm just not sure what to do with my image. So you tech savvy people, I may be reaching out to you.
We'll help you. That's what we do. All right. So if you're reach to your business coach, now that we've talked about this, reach to your coach, reach to me. Let's have individual conversations about where you are with social media and helping using it to move you forward. So thank you guys for taking out the time out. I know you're busy. Hopefully it was helpful for you. Have a great night.
Thanks.